plate. And when he eating the pork, he ain't licking his finger. He detests what he has to eat. And he'll eat the pork for the minimum time possible. And as soon as he could get out of the pork and get food to eat, he out of that. That is the way to apply the doctrine of necessity. Yes?
What I like to comment on is this, that the doctrine that is being preached here today concerning money and necessity. Something you already said about the Islamic followers to be awakened. It's something that must be put into practice by all, or be preached by all. Some of the lines seems hard, as you put it over today, and you make known that some of the scholars in this sect seem to be in line with some of the things that is not fair, in my simple word. I recommend that such plain teaching and truthful teaching should be invoked in the hearts. Because while we have to use money, we shouldn't allow it to be a deception in our travels to the paradise that we are going to. And I appraise the frankness of the teaching of being fair or honest one to another as we go along life, because, as you said, most time dishonesty invoke an evil to repay it sometime or the other. If I should have a car, as you said, that a fuse going by and a fella ripped me off, let me say $2,000. People at some time or the other wait for the opportunity for the individual only to walk on the edge. So such things help people to travel with evil, and evil breeds evil. So my comment is that the teaching that is being put over here today, that it may not be ignored, seeing that you have to lessen down on your trickery. It must be ignored and practice what is being taught here today, or discovered here today, if you never discovered, that we all will be able to carry a fairness in our mind one to another and try to develop a better society. Thank you.
When we have the last session, that's going to be the best session, because the last session is one in which I'll be talking the least. In the last session, we bring our heads together. Faiz Amin will have a lot to say. Imtiaz will have a lot to say. Sister Razia will have a lot to say in the last session. How do we respond? What should we do? How can we put our heads together? I'm not leaving you out, Nishtar. We all will put our heads together in the last session to try to respond appropriately to the challenge that we face today. Before we still have another 10 minutes in this session. Before we end, there will be some people who would not remain for the afternoon session. Remember, this book is not being given free of charge. If you'd like to take a copy home, it costs $50. Please give it there at the table. And if you want to leave before the afternoon session, do please write on a sheet of paper your brief assessment of what you've experienced so far in the seminar. And if you would like us to use your comment, because we would like to repeat this seminar next month, the last Sunday of next month. Do you know I turned away people from coming today? Because my list already had about 120 something. How many people do we have present here? About 60, 70? So about 50 people who called and registered to come did not come And as a consequence of their registering, we had to turn away people from coming today. Now that's not fair. So we're going to be repeating this seminar the last Sunday of next month, inshallah. And when we repeat the seminar, we'll want to put a full page ad in the newspaper. And we like to use some of your comments in your assessment so that people would know this is what the seminar is all about and this is what the benefit that they derive from the seminar. Any other questions? Yes? Imtiaz.
On the last Sunday of next month, it's a long weekend.
Is it?
You have a Thursday holiday and you have a Monday holiday,
So that's good.
it may work as well as
That's good, yeah.
they take advantage of a long weekend.
If we had to fish them out of my arrow, bring them here. Yes, Imtiaz.
Brother Imran, could you comment on the issue of the zakah on paper money?
Well, I hold the view that paper money is haram. Well, then what do we do? If you're marrying and you pay your dowry in paper, in South Africa now, in Malaysia now, the ulama are saying pay it in gold. Particularly since the Royal Malaysian Mint is now minting gold coins. The ulama in Malaysia are advising, if you want to have some assurance that your dowry is accepted by Allah, pay it in gold. If you want to have the assurance that your zakat is accepted, pay it in gold. If you give sadaqah and you want to have some measure of assurance that your sadaqah is accepted, pay it in gold or silver or money. What do we do if we hold the position that I hold, that this paper money is haram? Well, in Surah At-Taghabun, Allah says, Ittaqullaha mastata'atum. Fear Allah to the capacity that you can fear Him. So once you've done the best that you can do, and your Lord has seen that His servant is making the best effort capable for Him, then leave the rest to Allah, who is kind and merciful. But if you sit down and do nothing, you make no effort, then how can you expect forgiveness? This is my answer to the question on zakat. Yes?
Maulana Sahib, if the Royal Malaysian Mint is minting gold coins, why can't some connection be made between us and them in order to acquire these gold coins?
Yes, Fahad. The Royal Malaysian Mint, the man who is the owner of the mint, mashallah, he likes me, he invited me to the mint. He took me around himself, he showed me the operations of the mint. And he wants me to be associated with the work of the mint when I go back to Malaysia. They had the formal launch of their gold dinar 2 years ago. And I was invited for that launch of the gold dinar. But their policy is, all that they're doing is minting your gold. You have to bring the gold to them. And they will only work as a machine. They will mint it and give it back to you and charge you a fee. The problem is the fee. They charge 10 Malaysian ringgits per coin that is minted. 10 Malaysian ringgits is about 2.6 US dollars. That's a high fee. You have one gold coin which is quarter of a kilo, so many grams, 400 and something grams. Another gold coin which is about 1,000 grams or so. So it doesn't matter what is the size of the coin, it's the same 10 ringgits you have to pay. That can't work. So the Royal Malaysian Mint has faced a problem up front on the matter of the scale of their fees for minting purposes. But the ulama in Malaysia have had the wisdom, the good sense to act quickly in order to promote the use of the gold coins in the market. They say, well, you can't stop us for using it for religious purposes, for zakat, for meher. Meher is dowry, for sadaqah. This is our right, our religious right. Now, if we can have in Trinidad someone who would import the gold coin, maybe Imtiaz can do that, import the gold coins, and then make the gold coins available. Oh, Maulana Soleimani can do that. Make the gold coins available to the people. Then each Muslim family should have some gold coins, if only for the purpose of touching and holding in your hand sunnah money. And every step that you walk in the direction of recovering a sunnah, you get the blessings for it. So all that it takes is a businessman who will make connections with the Royal Malaysian Mint, or you could also make connections with Morabitun. Morabitun are minting their coins in Dubai. Maybe one day we'll invite my dear brother Umar Vadilio. He's a dear friend of mine. And Umar Vadilio is one of the greatest minds in the world of Islam today in this subject. We can invite Umar Vadilio to come to Trinidad, and you'll get a presentation that will astound you. They are minting gold coins. And you can make it available to the market. I have a few. I forgot to bring it with me today, so I could have showed it to you. Yes?
Yeah, I just have one question. We seem to be saying the answer is gold coins or gold. If it is that we take the view that all the gold is owned by the Jews, because through the auspices of the Bank of England and through the Federal Reserve and whatever else they've set up, and they have all the gold, and therefore, and I would imagine that they also control probably the fields from which you get gold in terms of that, then it stands to reason that they control the value of what gold is. So therefore, us going to gold to be the answer when it is in fact all basically in the hands of the people, the very same people we're trying to get out of bondage from, seems illogical. I think what you need to do is really to go to some unit of currency for which they have really no answer to in terms of that.
All right, we already have an answer given to that. But where there is a scarcity of gold and silver, because they control the supply, we turn to a commodity. A question here is, wheat and barley also deteriorate, like animals fall ill. The answer is that wheat and barley and dates and salt have a shelf life. Once they have a shelf life, it means that they can be used as money. And secondly, that they are in plentiful supply in the market. They can be used as money. Insofar as gold is concerned, when you study the subject, and this subject should be taught in the Darul Uloom. I gave the lecture on money in one of the foremost Darul Ulooms of South Africa. It's called Darul Uloom Newcastle. The head of that Darul Uloom is the chief alim of South Africa, a dignified old man named Maulana Sima. You know him, 80-something years of age. Maulana Sima sat down like a little child for the lecture. And when I was finished with that lecture, Maulana Sima got up and he said, this subject must be taught in the Darul Uloom. It's not taught now. What they did with the International Monetary Fund, when they established it, is to lay down a rule that all of us scholars of Islam, stupidity, we couldn't see behind what they were doing. We could have warned our people, but we didn't see it. They said that you have to inform the bank how much gold you have. And you have to take 1/4 of all your gold and put it with the bank.